Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Michelle, and today we have Nick on the show who's just listed his business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Nick, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Doing well, Michelle. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And I want to thank you for making the time to come on today. I'm really looking forward to learning more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of it. It's an Amazon FBA business in the medical and health and fitness niches created in December 2019. The average revenue for the business is $18,939 per month, and it makes an average of $4,936 per month in net profit. Included in this sale is an Amazon Seller Central account with 4 SKUs, a branded domain with all site content and files, supplier relationships, a trademark, social media accounts for Facebook and Instagram, and an email list. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 60173 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So Nick, now let's hear from you. What can you tell us about your background in starting and running online businesses?
Well, this was my very first business. At the time when I started it up, I was kind of working as a file clerk for a public defender's office back in the day. I wanted to learn to make money online, so I met this guy at a Denny's, and he was doing basically an Amazon FBA meetup there. I paid him $800 and he taught me everything he knew, and sure enough, I took the money I used after one of the houses that I was living in flooded with poop. And I got a settlement from the city of Tempe for about $15,000 that I used to actually start up this business. And it worked out pretty great. So it was a very simple process. It's just, I got money from a house flooding with poop. I met some guy at a Denny's that knew Amazon FBA stuff, and it took off from there.
Well, that is definitely quite the origin story. So what inspired you to start this particular business?
I think it was, at the end of the day, there was demand. When you're doing Amazon FBA type businesses, you use Helium-10, a lot of market research. And there was a big hole in this specific health niche. And I felt that I could put my name in there and fill it correctly because the marketing that was being done in the area wasn't really up to par. And I felt that I could really improve it.
I just really get a kick out of you meeting a guy at a Denny's and him teaching you everything that you needed to know.
Correct. It's where magic happens.
Yes, exactly. What attracted you to the Amazon FBA model?
I think what really attracted to me to it was how passive it can get. I mean, I work an hour or two a week and this thing churns out like nobody's business, right? I think just having that ability to have that freedom and that flexibility and be able to scale it at the same time is a very attractive model for sure.
Definitely. You've had it now for a little over 2 years and it's profitable. And like you said, you're not really spending a ton of time on it. So why have you decided to sell it now?
I want to go into something that's more, I think, aligned with who I am and what I want to do. Because, selling health products on the internet was not something that 5-year-old Nick was being like, yeah, this is going to be it. I loved doing it. But I think, I want to get into like a life coaching thing, and I need money to start that up. And obviously, getting proceeds from a business will help me do so. And being able to just focus on one thing and not have to worry about the health of another business would be very beneficial to what I'm trying to do.
Fair enough. So what would you say has been your biggest win since starting this business? Was there something that just worked so well for you that kind of transformed the growth of it?
Oh, yes. I think it would have been early on in the business, I was selling at a lower price point and I wasn't getting any sales at all. It was a pain in the ass. And I was really trying to get that to elevate itself. And I saw this video. There's this woman, she invented Spanx. I don't know what Spanx are, but apparently she's worth a lot of money. And she basically was telling me about her sales career, how she listed this printer at a higher price than Canon because she wasn't getting sales. And all of a sudden, people started paying attention to her printer over Canon. Whereas before, she was listing at a lower price. The printer didn't change at all. The only thing she did was make the price higher to make people start asking questions. So that's exactly what I did. I said, hey, all of these other Chinese sellers are listing at the kind of same price point I am. Why don't I make myself the premium brand? Why don't I make the marketing look real pretty and raise my price above everybody else and see if people start looking at it? Sure enough, I didn't change the product at all. I just changed the marketing, made it look prettier. And now I am officially the premium health brand in my specific niche. And it worked out great. The sales actually went up, the unit sales went up, and my margins got better. All I had to do was change the price and make the listing look prettier, and it worked out great. So I think that was the biggest, most impactful change that I made with this specific product.
That's fascinating. So true. I actually don't hear that very often. I did have a seller come through a few months ago who mentioned the same thing. And we were talking about it is fascinating because I think most people do come into it thinking, oh, if I set this at a really low price point, then I'll get all the sales, but it cheapens your brand. So that's really, really interesting. Well, on the flip side of that, what would you say has been your biggest setback or challenge?
It's very difficult to run a product in a reviews-based platform for a product that doesn't fit everybody well enough. It doesn't work for everybody. So you're going to be wandering around that 3.5-star range throughout your entire time. And sometimes you'll fluctuate up to 4 stars, and then you'll fluctuate down to 3.5 stars. And then you get a bunch of returns because this product doesn't work for everybody. So the returns can eat into your margins. So you're constantly trying to improve the product. You're dealing with Amazon that will suspend your listing for a few days. You end up getting it back. I ended up getting it back every time. But there's always those little things because you have to explain to Amazon why that there's these returns coming in. They're like, oh, okay, we'll give it back to you. So there's this honestly that ebb and flow all the time of dealing with the challenge of this is a product that doesn't work for everybody. People are going to complain about it a lot. And some people are going to love it on a reviews-based platform, and having to deal with the algorithm and all that has been quite a challenge. But, challenge was accepted, and here I am.
For sure. No, Amazon is a very challenging platform in and of itself.
Correct.
So I was wondering, do you do any product development with your suppliers?
I do. I've played around with the sizes. Obviously, in the beginning, there was 1 SKU. Now there's 4. So those SKUs, how they're, changed around is they're different sizes. So I said, hey, can you make a size like this? Can you make a size like this? Hey, maybe improve the thickness of the product so it lasts longer for customers. Maybe do this, maybe do that. They're very, very flexible. So Lynn, my supplier, she's very great with that. She's willing to make changes pretty much on the dot, and they're actually relatively effective.
And how would you say that you differentiate yourself from your competitors aside from the pricing point? I'm curious because you said, that you've now made yourself into the premium brand in this space. So how are you differentiating yourself?
I would say the marketing is one. That's a huge one. I think just being able to connect with customers on a marketing basis is huge because a lot of my competitors, their listings look like crap and their English and their bullet points doesn't look great at all. And the other thing I would say is through the sizing that I've done. No other competitor is offering multiple sizes across a specific niche. Usually the other competitors are like, well, you get one size. If it doesn't fit, that sucks for you. I'm like, okay, I got 4 sizes here. If it doesn't fit, here, drop down a size, shoot me an email, I'll send you a replacement. I want to make sure that you got the size that's going to fit you. But, that, obviously on Amazon, there's a lot of people that are just in it for the quick buck, and I played the long game. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm going to offer the sizes. If they don't want to offer you the sizes, they're going to get tanked over time for that. I'm going to be the premium guy. I'm going to be the nice guy. So I think a lot of the people look at my listing and how I do things and like, okay, this guy's pretty cool.
And how are your customers finding your listings? Are you using PPC advertisement? Are you using listings description SEO?
PPC is my main driver. Obviously, I have keyword ranks. So I think about half of my sales come from organic keyword ranking and half of my sales come from PPC. I have a very pretty video that I use for a lot of my PPC as well. And that one drives, it's like the Amazon brand registry PPC, I'm pretty sure. That drives a lot of sales as well. So just those 2 methods of traffic. I don't have anything else. I'm not doing any Facebook or Instagram marketing or anything like that.
And do you handle your own PPC campaigns?
Yes, I do. I'm a one-man show.
And do you feel like your PPC is optimized right now?
Oh, yeah. I've had this baby optimized for quite a while now.
And are you doing anything else in terms of marketing? Maybe, packaging or off Amazon advertisements?
No, just Amazon.
And what would you say are the major opportunities for growth with this business?
I would say getting that keyword ranking up, because right now it's not necessarily ideal. I think that there's a lot of keywords in like the top 10. But when this thing gets into the top 5 for each keyword, this thing pumps. And right now it's not necessarily pumping because it's going through an adjustment phase because I just made a huge improvement to the product. And now there's kind of returning customers that are kind of confused as to what size I need to get now. But that adjustment period has started to level off as time goes on. So I think that being able to raise that keyword rank and raise the reviews to get to that 4-star ranking, because right now I'm teetering. I'm at a 3.7. When it hits a 3.8, when it hits that 4-star rating, this thing churns. So if you're able to lower the returns, improve the product just as slightly, be able to throw money at PPC campaigns and get this thing into the top 5 for a lot of these keywords, you're going to have a listing that churns and you're going to have a business that is going to be worth a lot more than what you paid for it.
And I was wondering if you could walk us through what your supply chain currently looks like.
That's really simple. I go on Alibaba. There's this woman named Lynn Wong. I say, hey, Lynn, we'll just give an example here. I say, hey, Lynn, I want 2,000 units. And she says, okay, where do you want them sent? Either I send them to the Amazon FBA warehouses. Most of the time, that's the case. Or I have them sent to my residence in the high season when my inventory is restricted a little bit. I don't think they're going to have them this year. Hopefully not. Maybe they had enough fulfillment centers to not do that. But most of the time, I just say, hey, I want 3,000 units. Here are the FBA labels. Send them directly to Amazon's warehouse. And she says, okay, done. And literally it's like a 60 plus day process if I'm going by sea. And then it shows up there. It's really that simple. It's like buying something on Amazon pretty much.
So do you normally ship by sea? Or do you ever ship by air?
I do a lot by air because I'm poor. So when I want to have those nice margins and purchase 3 months of inventory at a time, but that would require me to purchase 3 months of inventory. So what I do is I come out in these quick little 1,500, 1,000 unit bursts and then have to send them by air because I'm panicking because my inventory is low, which is another reason I'm trying to sell the business is because I want those nice margins and I do get them from time to time when I do have a little extra change lying around. But getting those sea shipments for me has been quite a pain. So being able to send this off to somebody that can really reap those margins would be definitely great.
And how often would you say that you're in contact with your supplier?
I would say, every month and a half or so. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's a good relationship? You're happy with who you've chosen?
Yeah, it's extremely simple. She's extremely black and white, A to B, which is kind of what you want in a supplier, right? Get something done, send it to me, and I'll talk to you in a month and a half later. And they're like, okay, chill with me. So it's really simple, really straightforward.
And Nick, do you know what your current inventory limits are at Amazon?
It actually really improved. I think it's closer to 9,000 now. It was at 1,200 or I think something like 2,000 during the Christmas season. And then now all of a sudden I got upgraded to about 9,000. As I'm looking at this now, my maximum inventory level is 11,286. So I went up another 2,000.
Yeah, that's a huge difference there.
I guess they really trust me now.
And have you had any stockouts in the past 12 months?
Last 12 months? Actually, no. I've been pretty awesome in that area the last 12 months. Now, if you said the last 24 months, I'd be like, yes, I have had some stockouts. But the last 12, I've been very good.
What did you do differently then to prevent those stockouts from happening?
Have more money. Usually what happens is I run out of money and then I have to figure out how to airship stuff through. Or what would happen is that my keyword rank would randomly shoot up out of nowhere. And now I'm selling double what I sold before. And I'm like, holy crap, my demand is going through the roof. I need to get an emergency order in really quick. And then by the time it's being shipped over, my stuff runs out of stock. So I'm out of stock for 5 days. And then it finally gets to the warehouse and ups and up, because that was just the thing is dealing with the random fluctuations in demand. But now I've seen a lot more consistency. So that hasn't been a concern at all.
Yeah, those bursts of growth are a bit of a double-edged sword. Earlier you were mentioning that, this is really kind of running in the background more or less, but what does a typical week look like for you while you're running this business?
Well, usually it looks like me checking my sales, seeing what happened. Then I go and check my email, see what customers have any complaints, if they're looking for a new replacement, and then that's it. And I do that pretty much for like a week. Some weeks I'll have to do maybe some inventory planning, kind of planning out what kind of inventory order I need to make sure that it lasts the 3 months that I was looking for. But that's like a once a month thing, maybe once every 2 month thing. So on average, like we're looking like maybe like an hour or two a week of like a daily schedule. I mean, I went to the jungle of the Amazon rainforest to do this retreat, and I left this business by itself for 12 days without a single human being looking at it. I came out of the jungle, found a Wi-Fi connection, and looked at my business, and it ran completely smoothly. And like there was no hiccups at all while I was gone. So like that's the kind of business you're dealing with here. You could go 0 hours for 2 weeks and it will still be running just fine.
Yeah, that's one of the craziest things about this business model in particular. So, what do you think are the biggest challenge that a buyer would face?
I think the biggest challenge that they have to face is dealing with the fact that it's a difficult product to relatively improve. I think this is a product that has a lot of potential, but it would also require some good upfront work for you to really get it to where it potentially get to. I think that it's not going to work for everybody. And that's a big challenge. I think obviously you're going to do your best to improve the product and make it look nice and do all these things, but people are still going to complain. It's a health condition. Health conditions are very complex. And trying to tell people in an effective manner that this is going to help, even though it's a $20 product, it's not necessarily going to treat to its fullest potential because it's a complicated issue. So being able to navigate that, as well as navigate Amazon calling you and saying, hey, your listing has a high return rate this week. What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. They say this stuff all the time. And then you think that your listing is going to get taken down. It never does. Or they will suspend your listing every now and then you get it back within like a few days because you just resolve the issue. Just dealing with Amazon. I think this is a common thing across a lot of Amazon sellers that I've heard. I just think that it may be a little bit more frequent with a product like this because of the nature of the market that it's in.
And are you willing to commit to a non-compete for a new owner?
Yes.
And how much support are you offering buyers?
30 days and a few Skype calls. I think that's fair.
And are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Nah, I'm willing to go lower for all cash offers. I'm not doing earnouts.
Okay, that's fair enough. So if you're putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Potential. I'm willing to sell this at a very low price just for that all cash offer. I think being able to buy something like this at that low and having the money to improve it and having the money to reap the margins, I think is a huge, huge thing. And if you're able to do that, you're looking at a business that's going to be worth double, if not triple, the price that you paid for it if you are able to make those improvements. As if anything, it can be difficult to improve, but ain't no mountain high enough, man. You can go up there and improve it and triple or double its value. Within a few months of owning it. You just got to be able to put in the time and the effort to do so. And, the time and the effort putting in to do so will definitely work out. And it's very easy to run. I mean, Jesus, I told you that you could put 0 hours into it and it will still churn out after 2 weeks of not even paying attention to it. So a lot of the time that normally is spent into the day-to-day activities of running the business can be put into actually just improving the product, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah, those are great points. Is there anything else that you would like to share about the business that we might not have covered?
No, I'm good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming on and giving us a little more insight into both you and your business. It's really been a pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on.
Absolutely, Michelle. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 60173. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.